All right, welcome. Off-Season show, episode number 8. Today is Wednesday, February 19th, and we are in the deep depths of the off-season at this point. My name is Krista Turk. Glad you could join us tonight. If you've been following along the last few weeks, we have been heavy into partner swap season, partner announcement season, schedule season, particularly as we start to look towards the AVP and the first qualifying event starting here in about 2 months on April 12th and April 26th. That partner swap season comes to a big crescendo climax and then kind of starts to level off as we start looking towards the first events of the 2025 beach volleyball season starting here in about almost exactly a month. The entry lists for the Yucatan Challenge are up. We'll take a look at them a little bit later on here in the program. So we have a pretty good idea what's going on with partner switches and swaps. So that season is concluded, and now we start looking towards what should be an exciting 2025 season. We'll take a look at the entry lists for both the Yucatan Challenge event, which is March 20th through the 23rd. I believe the FIVB and the Beach Pro Tour have about a 30-day window where you have to pull your names off that list or get penalized. So now that we're 27 days away from that Yucatan Challenge, the entry list are pretty much the teams that you're going to see in there. Whether or not you make the qualifiers or you end up on the reserve list just depends on a points thing. And we'll start to take a look at that over the course of the next couple weeks. We'll take a look at the entry list for the Quintana Roo Elite 16, Elite 24. Some big changes on the Beach Pro Tour announced earlier this week via Travis Merwitter on YouTube. So we'll talk about the changes in the Beach Pro Tour, and we'll take a look at the entry list for the Quintana Roo Elite 16. The first king and queen of the court of the season, of the year, of the decade is coming up here starting on Friday, I believe, of this week, Thursday or Friday, out in Tenerife. If you're not familiar with Tenerife of the Canary Islands, Spanish, out in the Atlantic Ocean, just off the coast. Really, it's actually off the coast of Africa, just south of the Azores. But Tenerife has been and will continue to be for quite a while based on the quality of the facilities over there. The training grounds for a lot of your Olympic European athletes. That's what they go to train in the off-season. So Tenerife taking advantage of having, being a fun destination for a lot of the European players, scheduling a king and queen of the court. If you're not familiar with the product, we'll talk about that as well over the course of the next half an hour or so. We got a new segment for you today, a segment that I'm very excited about. It's a segment we're going to call Beach Volleyball Moments, where you look back in history, we look back at beach volleyball in popular culture, think Side Out the movie, think Top Gun, and we kind of highlight something that from beach volleyball's past, present, future, maybe fiction. It's just some iconic beach volleyball moments. We're going to take you back to 1995 on the AVP Tour. It was the Miller Lite Open, Boston, the $100,000 Miller Lite Open in my city of Boston, 1995. We're going to take you back to the winner's bracket semifinal where there were fireworks to be had. The great Chris Marlowe and Paul Sunderland on the call. The match between Brian Lewis and Bill Boulian and Mike Dodd and Mike Whitmarsh. So a new segment. I'm very excited. Stick around for that. Beach Moments. We're going to take a look at some fireworks in a 1995 AVP match. Let's get to some of the latest partners news, or probably partner news, team news, player news. Announced today, earlier on her Instagram, Betsy Flint had been one of those players that last week we said did not know what their intentions were as far as a partner was or as far as playing was for the 2025 season on the AVP Tour or internationally. Well, Betsy announcing today she is pregnant. Her and her husband, Chase, are expecting their second child at the end of the summer. So Betsy building that family already with her daughter, which you can see there in the picture, about to make it a family of 4. Congratulations to Betsy and her husband, Chase. and that is the news for Betsy Flint for the 2025 season. So really the last person right now for me that we're looking at as far as being in that top tier and yet to have a definitive partnership announcement is Deanna Kraft. Maybe we can learn something by taking a look at the entry lists for Yucatan or the Quintana Roo Elite coming up here in about a month. Want to remind you, too, this program is live. And I said when I started this program 8-9 weeks ago, I wanted this show to be an interactive show. That means you can hop in the chat. That means you can give me a phone call. The phone lines are open each and every week here. 978-254-1707. 978-254-1707. If you have a question about beach volleyball pairings, the schedule, the Beach Pro Tour, the King, Queen of the Court, any questions, comments, just want to hop in, chime in, chat it up a little bit, chop it up, talk some beach volley, 978-254-1707, or you can hop in the chat. Let's take a look at those aforementioned entry lists on the Beach Pro Tour. You're taking a look here at the men's side, the Yucatan Challenge. I'm going to focus for the purposes of this specifically on what we can learn from the United States players that are on the list. Kame Schock and James Shaw are on the entry list for this challenge event. Tim Brewster and Ryan Ierna, Vaught Clemens, Hoppy Bradford, Quickle Drost. My guy Tyler Penberthy for the U.S. Virgin Islands is on there. That's a Bet the Beach follower. Appreciate you, Tyler. Triborn Evan Corey will be our first look at them as a partnership in this challenge event. Miles Evans and Chase Buttinger. A little surprised to see them on the entry list for a challenge event, but I think what you need to remember here is that this event's in Mexico. The next event is in Mexico. Every event past these two is going to be harder, more expensive, more travel for these players to get to. What's the reason why USA players are playing on the international tour this year? Money is the big one. These guys and gals are trying to earn money to pay the bills, pay a living. So if you can pay less to get to a place and win money versus traveling halfway across the globe to win money, the choice is pretty easy. You pick the Mexico events. So I think Evans and Buttinger, a team that would be either direct into an Elite 16 right now or pretty close to it on the list for a challenge event. The other thing to remember here, too, is that World Champs are coming up at the end of the year, and there will be a qualification for those World Champs. So you're going to need to get a certain number of results in come August, September, whatever that cutoff is for World Champs. So these guys and gals trying to get their names on a list, trying to get their feet on a podium, and trying to get results to build out that resume for qualifying for World Champs, which has a 4-team country quota, and you need to be above a certain point as far as points go. Large draw, but all teams aiming on the international stage for that World Champs in Adelaide, Australia, come November 14th through the 23rd of 2025. Logan Smith, Hagen Weber on the list. Trevor Crabb playing with Cody Caldwell for both these events. And that is your entry list on the men's side for the Yucatan Challenge. On the women's side, we have Savicimo, Abby Van Winkle, Anderson, Bauer, Popinga, Lindstrom, Hildreth, Van Gunst, Julia Scholes, Lexi Dennerberg. Our first look at them as a pairing. All eyes will be on them. See how quickly they can gel as a partnership. A couple of players with a lot of weapons, the two of them. Can split block, too, which you'd love to see. Newberry, Whitmarsh, Tony Rodriguez, Kylie DeBerg playing together international, even though they're playing separately on the AVP. Keep up. I know. It's complicated. Carly Kahn and Devon Sowers. That's my keep an eye on team. That's a team I think that could be dangerous, both on the international stage and on the AVP. I think that might be the team that breaks through this year and puts themselves in that conversation, top 6, top 8 on the United States women's side. Shields and Hodel on the list. Harward and Phillips. That's Molly Phillips. I had to look her up. 24 years old, 6'5". 2024 was her first season on the tour. She played in the Manhattan Beach Open. Lost in the first round of the qualifier. Haley on the entry list with Molly Phillips for both this event and the following event, the Quintana Roo Elite 16, 24. Don't know what we're calling them yet. Quiggle, Loreen, Slabakova, and Griffin rounding out the list for the United States. for the Yucatan Challenge. We look at the entry list on the men's side for the Elite 16. Tri-born Evan Corey trying to see if they can get just above that reserve line into the qualifiers. I would imagine they both can too. Good results. Evan Corey got a gold to end the last season, and Tri-born, his points probably date back to before him and Kame hopped off the tour, so that'd be back early 2024. Not bad results for the two of them, so they may be able to make it for the qualifiers for an Elite 16. Clemens Vaught, Tim Brewster, Ryan Ierna, Logan Hagen-Smith, and Logan Weber, Tyler Penberthy again on the entry list. My guy, Bet the Beach follower, appreciate you. James Shaw on the list. They had some good results at the end of 2024. I would expect them to probably bounce up into that qualifier for an Elite 16. Trevor and Cody, as I said, playing a couple events in Mexico. Miles, Chase, Harrison, and Derek Bradford. On the women's side, for the Quintana Roo, Mexico, Elite 16, Elite 24. Again, we'll talk about that in a minute. Savvy, Abby, Anderson Bauer. Our first look at Kelly Chang and Molly Shaw. That'll be an exciting look there at the two of them. I imagine Kelly's points will drag Molly Shaw into the main draw, probably the qualifier, if I had to guess, just based on the limited amount of points that actually, no, I apologize. Molly Shaw got 3 medal of each color to end last season on the challenge event, so she's got probably pretty good points too. Maybe they could break into a main draw Elite 16. Either that or they're going through the qualifier. Carly Kahn, Devon Sowers, Tony and Haley in there. TKN, their first event of the 2025 season on the international stage. Julie and Lexi on the list. Therese Cannon, Megan Kraft, their first event. And down the list we go. Again, as I said, Haley Howard playing with Molly Phillips. They're on the list here too as well for the Elite 16 or Elite 32, Elite 16 or Elite 24 on the international stage. While we're here, let's talk about it. Earlier this week, Travis Merwider announcing on Twitter and then on Facebook, huge news from Volleyball World, expanding the fields of the main draws. They're going from 16 to 24 for the elite events, 24 to 32 for the challenge events, and they are going to add $100,000 of prize money for each event. I imagine what that means is $50K for each gender. That's not for first place. That gets distributed all the way down the line. And I saw some speculation on Volley Talk that the bulk of that money will go to support the lower end of your draw. So if you're an upper level player, your net change from winning an Elite 16 from the old to the new may not be huge, but the money on the back end brings up the players that are trying to justify, pay, afford, make viable traveling halfway across the country and taking a 17th place in an Elite 16. So, according to Travis, big win for the Beach Pro Tour and all of its players. Let's look at it from a fan's perspective. I would say more players in the tournament means more volleyball, which I think if you're watching this show, you are a beach volleyball fan. So why would we complain about more volleyball, right? So we get more volleyball. That's great. For you gambling folks, I know you, me, we both like to gamble a little bit, dabble in putting some money on these games. For us, this is a major win because more players equals more games. More games equals more opportunities to make money. More games to gamble on, more opportunities to increase our bankroll. So it's a good win for us, the gamblers. It's a win for the players. They get more money and more opportunities to make that money. A win all around on the Beach Pro Tour. FIVB getting this thing right at least, if not everything. So some good news there from the Beach Pro Tour, and thank you to Travis Merwider for the information. Let's take a look now at the king and queen of the court from Tenerife. So, starting here in February 21st, 2 days from now, so it's a Friday start, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, in Tenerife, the Canary Islands, the location of the premier training facility for the European athletes on the Beach Pro Tour, hosting their signature King and Queen of the Court event. What is King and the Queen of the Court? If you're a beach volleyball fan, I'm pretty sure you have a pretty good idea. Fast-paced, you get 5 teams usually, 5, then 4, then 3 teams on the court at once. You've got a winner's side. You get served at. If you win the point, if you side out, you stay on the winner's side. If you have a break point, you take the winners. Winners get kicked to the back of the list, and we just keep going and going and going. This event going to have a little bit different rules. I think from what I read, the players had complained about the drain of that fast-paced style. So I think this is a modified style a little bit from Tenerife, but an opportunity to watch some early season beach volleyball, which we are never going to complain about. Let's look at the players really quickly. On the men's and the women's side. For the Americans headed to Tenerife, you see it right there on your screen there. Corinne Quiggle playing with Chloe Laureen. That's your solo women's team playing out in Tenerife this coming weekend. 2 men's teams, Sean Cook, our guy. We're big Sean Cook fans here at Bet the Beach, partnering up with Olympian Andy Benish. Great partnership. I think they flew out there today. And I'll be very excited to see my guy Sean Cook playing behind a huge block of Andy Benish and to see what they're able to accomplish in this King and Queen of the Court. One other men's team, Tim Brewster playing with Ryan Ierna in this Tenerife King and Queen of the Court. On the women's side, your favorites, probably Tina and Anastasia of Latvia. 2-time top 4 finishes in the past 2 Olympics for Tina. 2-time AVP champion, I believe. 2-time, maybe 1 time. I know she won in Fort Lauderdale a couple of years ago. The favorites may be them. The favorites may be Netherlands, Stam and Schoen. A couple of German teams pretty solid too on the women's side as well. On the men's side, the Italian Alex Rangieri played in the Newport Beach Open. Newport Beach, or was it Hermosa Beach Open? I think it might have been Hermosa. He's playing with his new partner, Manuel Alfieri. Alex Rangieri, some speculation on what he was going to do after splitting with Adrian Carambula. Manuel Alfieri, so he's on the entry list for Tenerife. He's also on the entry list for both the Yucatan and the Quintana Roo Challenge and Elite events. So at least Alex Rangieri, the blocker from Italy, playing a little bit longer on the international tour at age 37 with his new partner, Manuel Alfieri. Adrian Gavira, the legend from Spain, is in the mix with his new partner, Alexander Brouwer from the Netherlands. He's in the mix. Austria's Horl and Pristaus might be your favorite on the men's side, just from I would say I would give Horl and Pristaus your favorite in that King and the Queen of the Court from Tenerife here over the next couple of days. All right, I think it is time that we get to what I am the most excited about for this episode. And I want to bring to you a new segment on the program. And the segment is called Beach Volleyball Moments here at Bet the Beach. And for today's beach volleyball moment, we're going to take you back in time. We'll take you back to the city of Boston, Massachusetts. The year is 1995. It's July of 1995. And it is the Miller Lite $100,000 men's AVP $100,000 Miller Lite Open, Boston, Massachusetts, July 8th and 9th, 1995. Now, coincidentally, why did I pick this? Well, I picked it because of the fireworks you're about to see. That said, this event here, a 10-year-old Chris DeTurk, a 10-year-old Chris in the stands, Quincy Waterworks, climbing around the sand dunes of Boston, Massachusetts. I know the sand dunes of Boston. Quincy Waterworks did happen. Quincy Waterworks was an awesome place. If any of you have ever been there, let me know in the comments. I want to hear about that. Quincy Waterworks, I was 10 years old, so I can't really remember how awesome it must have been. But if you got to experience the Quincy Waterworks, and I'd love to hear about it. So give me a comment if you did get to participate at any point in going to an event at the Quincy Waterworks. But in any case, I regress. So I was there. 10-year-old Chris was here. I wasn't here at this particular match, I don't believe. I think I probably went on day 1 of the tournament. So what we have 1995 Miller Lite Open. We have the winners bracket semifinal. Mike Dodd and Mike Whitmarsh, about 1 year away from representing their country in the first ever beach volleyball at the Olympics in Atlanta in 1996. Mike Dodd and Mike Whitmarsh, who ultimately, eventually in those Olympics, would go on to take a silver medal, losing to Karch Karai and Kent Steffes. But Mike Dodd and Mike Whitmarsh in the winners bracket semifinals, taking on Brian Lewis and Bill Boulian. On the call for this is Karch Karai. On the call for this is the great, the legend, Chris Marlowe. If you've been watching a program, if you're a Bet the Beach follower, you know how much I love Chris Marlowe, and potentially his most iconic partnership, both on the sand and in the booth. Didn't play with him on the sand, but I'm just saying, what was the most iconic partnership of Chris Marlowe's career? It may be with the great Paul Sunderland. Marlowe, Sunderland in the booth. On the sand in the winners bracket semifinals, Mike Dodd and Mike Whitmarsh versus Brian Lewis and Bill Boulian. So this clip comes from the finals 1 day later, and they're going to circle you back to an explosive conclusion to the winners bracket semifinals. So we go to the sands of Boston, Massachusetts, 1995, the Miller Lite $100,000 Open. And we go to the winners bracket semifinal.
It was tied up against Dodd and Whitmarsh. Lewis thought he got a touch on this play off Whitmarsh. Watch the explosion by Lewis when he doesn't get the call.
Spike by Brian Lewis is long.
You guys are so terrible! How can you not hear that? That's Jim Leonard.
All right, so let me set it up for you. The referee coming down off of the stand there, Jim Leonard. The individual in your foreground there with his shirt off, that is Brian Lewis. The call, no touch off the block of Mike Whitmarsh. Crucial call late in the match of this winners bracket semifinal. The winner of this to go on to face Karch Karai and Scott Ayakatabi in the finals of the winners bracket. The loser to head to the losers bracket. So an important touch, no touch call. Let's take a look at it one more time.
It was tied up against Dodd and Whitmarsh. Lewis thought he got a touch on this play off Whitmarsh. Watch the explosion by
Lewis with the swing.
Doesn't get the call.
Whitmarsh, touch, no touch. So I'll say this, without high definition, it is impossible to tell whether or not Mike Whitmarsh touched that ball. I couldn't hear it. I couldn't see it. You need high definition in order to make one of those kind of calls. You can see it today. You get the instant replay, slow motion, great camera stuff from the AVP these days. Great microphones, just high definition, high audio quality. You're not going to get that here. So there's only like 2 people in the world in this moment that truly know. One person in the world is Mike Whitmarsh. Did he touch the ball? Did he not touch the ball? But we aren't here to talk about a touch, no touch. We are here to talk about the reaction of Brian Lewis to the call, no call.
By Brian Lewis is long.
You guys are so terrible!
All right, that's the first. Ready? You guys are so terrible from Brian Lewis.
How could you not hear that?
How could you not hear that?
That's Jim Leonard. That is so bad! How could you not hear that? Are you kidding me? How could you not hear that? Jesus Christ!
I got to tell you, like, if you go back in the history of sports, it's coach freakouts and it's player freakouts that, for me, are just tickle a funny bone. I hope they do for you, too. The Jim Cora, the Allen Iverson practice. What are we talking about? Not a game. We're talking about practice. So this is a player freakout on the sand. Brian Lewis, he's not done.
What the is going on out here? Thank God we had the bleeper going. You guys are terrible!
Also, Chris Marlowe, thank God we got the bleeper going.
How can you not hear that?
I just want to just go back to this one more time. You get a, how can you not hear that? That is so bad. How can you not hear that? Are you kidding me? How can you not hear that? Jesus Christ. What the bleep is going on out here? You guys are terrible. That is terrible. Just one more time, just the amazing reaction of Brian Lewis.
Spike by Brian Lewis is long.
You guys are so terrible! How can you not hear that? That's Jim Leonard. That is so
Chris Marlowe. That's Jim Leonard coming off the booth.
bad! How can you not hear that? Are you kidding me? How can you
I couldn't quite get what Jim Leonard says there. I think he just looks at him, puts his hands up, and say, "Take it easy, Brian Lewis."
What the is going on out here?
Thank God we had the bleeper
You
going.
guys are terrible. How can you not hear that? That is terrible.
And a little later in the
All-time
interview with Paul
freak out.
Sutherland, Brian Lewis said, Jim Leonard, honestly, has missed 3 of those this year for me, and does he think he's doing it purposely? I guess he does.
Well, at least at the time, but, you know, you and I differ on this a little bit. I think you obviously would speak for yourself, but I've never seen a referee that I thought was intentionally missing calls to favor one player or another. Not that I've been aware of it. Maybe I'm just being naive, but I've never seen it.
You know, it really doesn't matter what we think. Brian Lewis thought Jim Leonard was cheating.
So that's the story from Chris Marlowe and Paul Sunderland. Ultimately, Brian Lewis, Bill Bullian would lose that winner's bracket semifinal match to Mike Dodd and Mike Whitmarsh. So Brian Lewis, Bill Bullian lose the winner's bracket semifinal to Dodd and Whitmarsh. They make it to the loser's bracket, the 4th place game, to Matt Saunderson and Bill Suara. Win that one. Lewis Bullian to take on the 3rd place match. Dodd and Whitmarsh now get bounced to the loser's bracket. So you have a rematch 2 matches later, the same thing. Lewis Bullian versus Dodd Whitmarsh. This time Lewis and Bullian are victorious. They move on to the finals, to this match you see right here, to take on Karch Karai and Scott Ayek-Tubby. Karch and Scott end up winning the day 15-5. Kind of a blowout in this final match. I think even Karch says it. They played a few more games than we do. Going through the loser's bracket can be a little bit challenging there. Brian Lewis, Bill Bullian headed home with a 2nd place in the Miller Lite $100,000 Open, but just an all-time losing his mind, all-time freak out there by Brian Lewis. And I enjoyed that. I thought you might enjoy that as well. What the bleep is going on here? You guys are terrible. That's your 8-time AVP champion, Brian Lewis, to AVP referee Jim Leonard in the 1995 AVP Boston Semifinals, following that no-call touch off the hands of Mike Whitmarsh. Hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you did in the comments. Beach Volleyball Moments, our new segment here on the Off-SZN show. That'll do it for us tonight. We'll be back next Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, as we are each and every Wednesday night. If you enjoyed the program, do me a favor, give me a like and subscribe on YouTube. You can also find us on any of the social media platforms. They're all right there: YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. It's at Bet the Beach. You can email me at any time there, betthebeach@gmail.com. Only a few more episodes left of the off-season show before we get into the regular season. Actually, after this one, we have 4 more before the Yucatan Challenge kicks off on March 20th from Yucatan, Mexico. So a couple more weeks of the off-season. The long, cold winter is almost over. Spring is almost here. Beach volleyball is almost back. It's a good thing. It's one of the best things. The off-season almost over. Sad for the off-season show. Good for us beach volleyball fans. Back next week, 9 p.m. on YouTube, the off-season show. See you then.
Wake up, sunshine, let's go play. Beach volleyball is the way. Sand in my toe, sky so blue. Fun in the sun, just me and you. Bounce on the beach, set the ball high. Smiles all around and we reach for the sky. Surfs up and laughter's in the breeze. Join the podcast if you please. Having been, watch us fly. Under the sun we feel so high. Spike and surf, hear the cheer. Every day is summer here. Wake up, sunshine, let's go play. Beach volleyball is the way. Sand in my toes, sky so blue. Fun in the sun, just me and you. Bounce on the beach, set the ball high. Smiles all around and we reach for the sky. Surfs up and laughter's in the breeze. Join the podcast if you please. Dive and dig, watch us fly. Under the sun we feel so high. Spike and serve, hear the cheer. Every day is summer here. Dive and dig, watch us fly. Under the sun we feel so high. Spike and serve, hear the cheer. Every day is summer here.